What up, dogs? Welcome back to Garo Attacks for Your Heroes. Rawr, let's get right back into it, shall we? Last episode, we purchased Atlas, the guy who we're gilding, and we're just gonna keep going, I guess. Yeah. Let's while I have some time before we get his first ability, I'm just gonna go in here and do Garo Attacks for Your Heroes. 2, 3, 1, part 2. That was last episode. This episode is 2, 3, 1, part 3. Part 3 is the Atlas episode where we level up Atlas, all the Atlas levels for Atlas. There we go. I'm just gonna keep leveling Atlas up. The Atlas man. It's you know, it's a living. And honestly, we should just give him a level as soon as he's able to. Because oh Jesus, okay. Yes, because you know, every level counts, man. Every level counts. Gives him more DPS all the time, forever and ever, and he's the greatest man alive. That's how I see it right now. Atlas is the greatest man alive right now. I can't believe we like completely skipped just Dread Knight and skipped Dread Knight as a possible gilding like option and just went straight to Atlas. Because you know, at the end of our last ascension, we had Atlas at level 1100, and yeah. And you know how during these past few ascensions, like, we just went further and further and further every time? Well, I'm assuming they're going to get further and further and further every time, even after purchasing all the guilds on Atlas. So it just makes sense to just keep it all on Atlas, because we're never going to, like, regret it, because we're never going backwards or nothing. Oh shit, okay. Let's do that. Let's do some of that. So it makes sense, man. This might be a good opportunity for a little bit of bump and grind. No, what? I'm not suggesting anything. Don't you worry, child. Sierra's got a plan for you. I believe who did that joke? I think it's oh, okay, you know what? It's one of my coworkers, Elliot. She's a hilarious lady, but I believe her dad mishears song lyrics all the time, and after listening to that song, he was like, "Oh, who the fuck is Sierra?" and Elliot was just like, "Oh no, this wasn't Elliot. This is definitely my girlfriend." I'm sorry, because I remember it wasn't her that said, "What the fuck are you talking about?" It was my girlfriend's brother. He said, "What the fuck are you talking about, Dad?" And he was just like, "Sierra's got a plan for you," and it's like, at that point, just facepalm is the understatement of the year at that point. So butt sex, having lots of butt sex, having lots of butt sex. Hey, we got all the abilities from Atlas. What do you know? What do you say? What do you think when I say you're gay? I don't know, man. I don't know what I say about that. I'll tell you what I do say, though. Douche Bobby Boucher. Don't you say Bobby Boucher. I don't know, man. Calm your shit down. Last episode we were talking about what was it, E3. More importantly, we were talking about what's it called? We're talking about Bobby Boucher. No, we're talking about A Breath of the Wild. The new Zelda game that's coming out. Legend of Zelda game coming out. Breath of the Wild. It's like one of the greatest pieces of literature to ever grace fucking skies forever. It's it's looking to be like a really good game, and I cannot stop looking up shit about it. I can't, like, I go through the rigmaroles every day. I watch my Crip episodes, watch my Northern Line episodes, and then I'm just like, you know what I want to watch now after all that? I just want to watch a bunch of Breath of the Wild demo run-throughs by a bunch of random people on YouTube who I don't fucking know, just because I want to see it. I want to see more, okay? I want to see if anyone did, like, figure out if, like, they're gonna go through that snow area or something. I want to see if someone So I'll figure out like a new cooking recipe to like cook shit with. I want to see if someone died in a hilarious and unexpected way. I want to see if there's any puzzles anyone solved that I was confused about at first. I want to see it all, man. I want to see it all before the game even comes out. I want it now, man. Don't care how. I want it now. That's Charlie and Chocolate Factory, Willy Wonka and Chocolate Factory for you right there. Yeah, man. Is it Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, or is it Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory? I forget. I believe, movie-wise, the first one with Gene Wilder is Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, and the second one with Johnny Depp is Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory, because obviously you're focusing on two separate characters there. In the first one, they focus more on Charlie's character, and the second one, they focus more on Willy Wonka's character, which is fine, I guess, but I didn't like it. I didn't like that. But I forget what the book was. I think the book was also Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, which you know, I only remember it like that because I remember it was, what's it called? It was similar to the first movie in like they focused on Charlie's character, but it was the name of the second movie, which makes sense because yeah, also like early on they didn't care about that sort of shit, so they, instead of taking the first movie taking the book's name, they changed up the name a little bit, fucked with like the intellectual property a little bit, right there, changed a little bit about the thing, which is fine, I guess, but also apparently Roald Dahl just hated the first movie, hated the shit out of it. I'm like, nah, Roald Dahl. Have you seen the second one? Watch the second one, Roald Dahl. I don't even know if Roald Dahl is still alive and making opinions about things. I don't know if she's still alive and writing books, is what I was talking about. Sad. Like, I mean, I do like her books though. There's the one that she wrote. It was like what, the Grumps or some shit. I thought that was pretty interesting. It's literally just like two married people who just fucking hated the shit out of each other, but they look like just really like terrible caricatures of like old-timey like propaganda-looking Jewish people. It's like the hunched-over backs and the large noses, hook noses. Yeah, it just looks. I could see how you would think maybe it was a little racist. I didn't think that at the time though. I just read the book. That was pretty good. The Grumps. There's no story. Like there's zero story, and there's no like I don't think moral to the story really. It's just like if you live your life like a grump, you're eventually gonna melt and die alone. Which you know, I guess is a sort of message they can give the children a little bit. See how they accept it. See how they feel about that. I mean, at a certain point, you gotta ask yourself, like, how hardcore do you want your kids not to be grumps? You know, I understand. Like, you would want them to be more like, you know, receptive, you know, accepting, you know, loving individuals. But also, like, you're gonna tell them they're gonna die if they don't do that? That's kind of a little bit of false advertising. I mean, they're not advertising, like, I don't think there's like and the moral of this story is, kids, that if you're a bad person, you're gonna melt and die alone. No. But also, like, I mean, it did, for me, sort of encourage, like, oh, you gotta be a nice person, but also, did anybody else read these books or just take away the message from these books? Because I feel like nowadays, not people my age, but mostly like people older than me, and now people younger than me, or like their priorities are a little out of whack, in my opinion. Like they're, you know, younger people, they're all social media, like electronics, self-idolization, you know. Whereas older people, they're just like money, fuck the next generation, money, fuck everyone else except for me, money. So I feel like I was part of a generation that's like, you know, the most most kind-hearted, which is weird to think about. 'Cause, I'm kidding. I could be kind of an asshole sometimes to certain people if they're like treating me the wrong way. As you've come to notice when you're when y'all are looking at my previous YouTube videos of me tearing Phil a new one because he's like fucking up at work. This is not just one video, it's like a string of like 4 or 5 videos where I was complaining about him. Excuse me. But it's all in good fun. No, it's all like, it comes from a good place. It comes from a place of like caring. Whereas with, whereas with a certain number of certain numbers of peoples on the planet, that's sort of not a thing. That's not what they want to do with their lives. And I'm just like, I'm over here like, yo, like, who, it's gonna sound a little like uppity, but like, yo, like, who raised you? Like, cause they fucked up a little bit. And I never want to tell parents that they fucked up raising their kids, but some parents just fucked up raising their kids, I think. My parents were strict with me, dog. I got the beatings. I got the beatings as a kid. Not like to a bloody pulp or nothing. Just like spanked for like, like trying to smoke one of my dad's cigarettes like a fucking idiot. Of course, they gotta, there's discipline. You gotta teach them early that there's consequences to their actions. Otherwise, you have people growing up and like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna make all the money in the world, and the people working beneath me, they could just make less money actually. Instead of how much they're making, I'm gonna make them make less by firing them and hiring people for cheaper. It's it's a cycle of greed and a cycle of self-centeredness revolving around these different generations here. I think my generation that I represent, I guess, is millennials. The ones who remember the 90s so nostalgically, and the ones who also like who are like the most in debt and also the most fucked over for like jobs, and also the most fucked over for literally everything else, money, loans, debt, jobs, fucking food, safety, I don't know, man, everything else, shelter, everything, man, housing, fucked over, you got fucked over pretty hard, man. I used to think, me being a young person in this new technological era in the United States, greatest country on earth, I thought that was like my reality, but now I realize, holy shit, I'm actually part of like the most fucked over generation that has come around for a long time. We're basically slaves. We're slaves. We're the most fucked over generation that's come around for a long time, just because the generations preceding and after us, they're just gonna like fucking annihilate us in every sense of the word. And there we go. I'm just gonna minimize that. And also, like, we don't have the capacity to sort of like assert ourselves past that. We've been taught to be subservient. We're slaves, you guys. We're slaves. Is my generation, and we're apparently, yes, I guess America is not a third world country, so it'd suck if I was actually born in this generation a third world country. But also, out of all of the first world countries that I could have been born into, I was probably born into like the worst first world country. Out of like all of the first world countries, I think this one's the shittiest, just because it's extremely backwards in all of our endeavors. I mean, regardless, we'll figure it out in the future at some point. One of us will. We'll try and keep this train rolling. I mean, regardless, I guess. On that note, that hopeful last note right there. Like, subscribe, comment if you're enjoying the series thus far. I know I am. I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Peace out.